first off, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so first off, who is Kortnee Anderson?
I was born and raised in Marshfield, lived here all my life. My dad still lives in the same house I grew up in on Union Street. He also was a Marshfield firefighter. And my mom worked in the school systems. And now I live down towards Wrexham with my two kids.
Awesome. So what got you into the real estate business?
I always loved looking at houses, and I remember getting the Ledger and even like the Mariner and looking at the real estate transactions. Like I always wanted to see like what house sold and how much it sold for. And then once we bought our house in 2006, I really I was just fascinated by the whole process. And then in 2014, I had two kids and a lot of other things going on. In 2014, I was like, you know what? I really want to get my real estate license and see what I can do with it. So,
great. So you're now the office manager at Jack Conway in Marshfield?
I am. I manage the Marshfield office and the Hull office as well.
Wow. So talk about being the office manager. What's that like?
It's actually really fun. I started managing in 2022. I was an assistant manager for both offices, and then in 2023, I took over as the office manager. It's really fun. I have about 20 agents in Marshfield and about 12 in Hull, and it's just always something new and helping out the agents and getting them to succeed it's a fun job.
So do you have your own offerings, or are you just kind of managing them? Are you still doing...
So I still have my own real estate business.
Okay.
And I'm managing. So I'm wearing two different hats.
Because I know with some managers of other real estate firms, it's like they don't actually have their own listings. So
yeah. No, I still get to do my own listings and have my buyers, which is really fun too.
Awesome. So talk about the type of listings you have.
I do residential. I can do commercial, but I prefer residential. We do have agents that are better equipped to do commercial. So I'm a listing agent as well as a buyer's agent. And honestly, all over the South Shore, I go. I obviously know Marshfield really well, like the back of my hand, but I have been to Dedham and Boston and the Cape and everywhere in between.
I was going to say, is there like an area that you really kind of focus on?
South Shore mostly, but I can really sell anywhere. And my company we have over 600 agents in our company. So if I can't really be on the North Shore and I have a client that wants to be there, I can put them in touch with an agent who will be able to better serve them.
What's been some successes?
Some successes in my personal business or in management?
Either or.
Let's see. As far as management goes, I think my favorite thing I love about it is having a new agent who just got their license and doesn't really know what to do, and working with them, usually one-on-one once a week and helping them get their business going. And then once they get their first listing or their first buyers and they go through that process, that's super rewarding as a manager to see them succeed. And it just kind of snowballs for them from there on out. So that's pretty cool. Successes for me, I think, is just, I feel like there's a lot of agents, a lot of people get their license. A lot of people think that they can make a career out of it, and it's not easy. You really have to work hard at it. And I think just being able to be successful over the past 10 years and really grow my business each year is a huge success.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I had a conversation with someone about that. I think a previous guest who was in the real estate business, and they talked about how it's like almost like a lifestyle.
It is. It's not 9 to 5.
Right.
I mean, I will wake up to text messages and I go to bed text messaging and emailing, and it's probably not for everybody, but I'm busy in my personal life and, with two kids and running around and sports and stuff with them. So this is the best job for me because I can make it work wherever I am.
Right. So how has the industry changed since you first got started?
So, like I said, I got my license in 2013. I got my license. started selling in 2014.
Okay.
And so since then, well, the market has always been a little crazy. It's been,
Especially the past few years too.
yeah. Home prices have doubled since then, easily. So that's, interest rates were probably, I don't really know off the top of my head, but probably like in the 5s or 6s back then.
Yeah.
They're at probably currently high 6s, 7s right now. So not much has changed there, but the home prices have definitely.
Yeah. So like, what is it about the South Shore where it like prices are so high and it's so tough for people to find home? Like, I'll give you a good example. So my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, it took them like almost 2 years to find a home. Like what is it that makes the South Shore?
Oh, so desirable
Yeah.
is, the beaches. The views are amazing.
Yeah.
Never get tired of those. The communities. I really do think the towns around here, they're great communities. Right. Everyone, great people down here. Yeah. School systems, too, are another one.
Yeah.
And, there's the train, too. For people who work in the city, they can take the train. So I think that's why a lot of people want to move down here.
Is there like one or two towns that are really kind of like air quotes hot right now?
Let's see. Marshfield is still pretty hot. Really? Scituate, Hingham, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, Norwell. I mean,
pick
a lot
your
of
collection
them.
of 3A
Everything
towns.
really sells fast. If
Right.
it's priced right, it's going to go really quick.
So, is there a favorite type of client? It could, buyer, seller, first time, downsizer. Is there a particular type of client that you work well with or you enjoy working with more than others?
I don't have a favorite per se, but there is something about working with a first time home buyer.
Okay.
To make sure that, the first house is everything that they want and they're not buying some money pit, unless they want the money pit.
Right.
But, just to kind of make their dreams come true of getting their first
Right.
home and something that checks all the boxes for them. And then seeing them, have kids or get married,
Right.
whatever it be, and have a great life.
Watch them almost like grow up in a weird way.
It's fun.
So you kind of touched on this. What's a typical day for you?
Like my typical day?
Yeah, your typical day. Like for someone like you, what's a typical day? Because you said it's all over the place.
All over the place. So my typical day, I wake up at 6 a.m. And I'm usually already answering emails and text messages while my kids get ready for school. Then I drive them and come home and usually try to get in a quick workout before the day. And then it depends. I mean, if, I work with the chamber too, so I might be at a chamber meeting at 8:30 in the morning, or I'm in the office in Marshfield, or I go to Hull. And I do have meetings and stuff for my management position during the days. And then I'm also meeting with my clients on top of that. So typically I'll do management in the mornings to about 2 o'clock and then get the kids home from school. And then I either go back to the office or I go back and do showings until probably like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, because it's not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5.
No, and then there's days where both of my kids play ice hockey, so I might drop one at the rink, go show a house, or open my laptop and sit in the car and work. It's
a lot of weekends too, right?
It is, yeah.
So there's a lot of great realtors in Marshfield and so sure. What separates you from all the others?
There's a lot of amazing agents. I think what separates me, I think I'm pretty even keeled most of the time. My feathers don't get ruffled, but I do really like to win for my clients. I mean, we all do. Yeah. So I will be always trying to figure out, the best way to make sure that they either get the house or that if they're selling their house, that they're getting the best price possible. And it is a very serious real estate is a very serious business. Transactions are it's a huge investment.
It is.
But I like to do it with a little bit of humor and make them laugh a little bit.
How so?
Just I always try to keep things light,
because it is stressful.
It is very stressful, and people get very invested if they're buying a house and there's 10 offers and they're worried that they're not going to get it. I just like to make sure that they put their best foot forward possible. And if it doesn't work out, then I just say it wasn't meant to be. And the house they usually find is way better.
So going off of that, what's something that someone should know when working with you to make sure to kind of help that there's a great experience?
Well, I think, let's see. I think I hope they always have a great experience when they're working with me.
But what's that like one key thing? Like, hey, in order to really ensure there's a great experience,
I think being flexible.
Okay.
I'm very flexible with my time. I can make anything work as long as they can be flexible and, whether it's showing a house on 9 a.m. on a Monday or as long as we can, even video tours. If they can't be there, I'll go in and do a video tour with them.
What's been maybe the most favorite or most memorable transaction of your career?
I have two.
Go for them.
No. One is, I think my first home that I sold that was over $1 million. Wow. That was like a big, oh my gosh moment for me. And I really wanted to make sure it was perfect. And my sellers were amazing and open to all suggestions, painting and everything. And that whole process of marketing that property and for that first time was huge for me. And then I actually got to collaborate with my good friend Sarah Johnson, who does home staging and interiors. That was our first job that we collaborated on together.
Really?
And it was just so much fun. And that's like my favorite transaction.
We actually just did a behind the business with Sarah.
Yes, I saw. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about the other one?
The other one is a little silly. I had a listing in Marshfield, and they had found another house that they wanted that was also in Marshfield. We were kind of going back and forth. They really wanted that house, but their house wasn't under agreement yet, and it was a little chaotic. And then it all came together while I was on a flight to Key West. Everything started happening, and the entire time I was in Key West, I was there for a wedding. Okay. And the entire time I was working, and which wasn't bad. I still had a lot of fun, but I ended up selling those two houses while I was down in Key West. So it was chaotic, but really fun.
Is there a transaction that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Yes. I would like to buy myself a second home somewhere someday.
Around here or somewhere else? Or?
Probably somewhere else. I'm not quite sure yet, but I would like to own another home or an investment property.
Yeah.
That's something that I would really like as well.
So one thing I was just thinking, has the whole buying and selling process changed with technology and so many different websites now and so much information now being out there?
Yes, for sure. I get texts from buyers all the time from different websites that they find, and they're like, I like this house. And it's sometimes they're not even on the market.
Right.
Or sometimes they have already sold, they were already under agreement. So sometimes it depends on what website. They may not be getting them in real time. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's also scams out there too, that people are posting a house for sale. So I always, as soon as they send it to me, I look it up in MLS and make sure it's legit. Yeah.
So talk about your community involvement. You're really involved in the community. We were talking about the chamber earlier.
Yes. So I started with my girlfriends years ago back, I think it was in 2010, we started Marshfield Woman-Aid, which was something that was kind of spawned from, we all loved to all get together when we could get babysitters and go out to dinner. And we decided, what if instead of going out to dinner, we had a potluck and donated the money, put all the money that we would spend on a night out and donate it somewhere.
That's awesome.
So Marshfield Woman-Aid was born, and it was so great. We got to work with the school system to identify students that needed help, and it was all anonymous. So the homeless liaison
Yeah.
would, it was Ruth Fry back then, would contact us and say, there's a family in need. And we would say, okay, just we'll write a check, or we're happy to do gift cards, and we would help those families out. And that lasted for a long time, but we all have kids, and it was just really crazy to maintain it.
Right.
But there's so many amazing nonprofits in this town that do the same thing that we did. So there's really not a need for us anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But so then 2 years ago, I joined the chamber as a board member, and that's been a lot of fun. And now this year, I am the treasurer for the Marshfield Chamber.
Excellent. Yeah. So business is all about partners. So who are the best partners for you?
So with Jack Conway, we are a one-stop shop.
Okay.
That's something that we pride ourselves on, and it makes it easy for our clients. So we work with guaranteed rate for mortgages and Columbia Title, so which is our attorney. So it's a great thing to offer to people, and we also have Conway Country Insurance too, so they can like soup to nuts. They can get it all in one stop. That's a great thing to offer to people, and it makes home buying and selling really seamless. But there's also a bunch of great loan officers and attorneys around here that I work with that, I love working with as well.
Okay. So we're on the home stretch here.
Okay.
So what's the best piece of advice you've been given business-wise?
Best piece of advice. Okay. Well, back to Key West, like I was saying. Years ago, they said if you want to be busy in real estate, go on vacation. Because business always picks up when you're on vacation. So, I know.
Why?
I don't know why. Because you plan a vacation and the business starts coming to you. And it is 100% true, and it seems silly, but whenever
So you take a lot of vacations now?
I try. No, it's one of those things that I'm always like, well, book a vacation and then see what happens.
It's like how can we miss you if you won't go away, sort of thing. Which is kind of weird.
It is weird.
It's strange. So another question we love to ask people, and this is always like the fun one. So if you could jump in the time machine to the start of your career, what would you tell yourself?
That's like a Barbara Walters question.
Is it? It's
like,
always the question that kind of everybody says, like, oh, I have to think about this one.
Could jump into a time machine.
Yeah,
well,
back when you could now, if you could jump now from when you got your license, what would you tell yourself?
I think it was funny because starting 10 years ago, people really thought I couldn't make a career out of it. They honestly. Wow. And I wasn't really sure of myself either back then. There was a lot going on, and I wasn't really sure if I could make it. And I decided to make the leap. And it's scary because you're not getting paid weekly or monthly. So just to let myself know that you are going to make it, you're going to do really well and meet so many amazing people along the way.
That's great. And then last but not least, if people want to find out more about you or Jack Conway Realtor, where can they go?
JackConway.com. We have Jack Conway Marshfield Facebook page and Instagram page, Jack Conway Hull as well. And I mean, I don't know.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And
give my phone number. No, I'm just kidding.
Some people do. Some people give out phone numbers. Some people just give out their websites or emails. So.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
This was fantastic.
This was really fun.
I'm glad.
And not as scary as I thought.
We try not to make it scary, but once again, thanks so much.
Thanks.